So, welcome to the first ever game talk. That's a working title. I don't know if I'm going to call it game talk or not, but it's what I'm going with right now. And with me today is Krad. Say hello, Krad.
Hello, Krad.
And the man without the camera is Kazuuk. Okay. So basically what we're going to talk about today is pretty much the big events that are coming down the pipeline in gaming this week and next week. And I have lots of questions that I fielded from people. Most of them are anonymous. It seems like people are a little bit timid about putting their name out there. But I brought in my talented game guys here, and we're just going to talk about the things that people are interested in talking about, or hearing about, or listen to us talk about, whatever you want to call it. So, the first question, what's that?
These talented guys, when are they going to be here?
Well, he didn't show.
No-show scumbag.
It's the no-show scumbag. That's going to be his badge of shame right there. You missed the time. Well, you are going to live with the first episode being no-show scumbag right there for you. So, the first question, and this is also from an anonymous person, but I found it was interesting. They wanted to know how what is the word, prevalent is the launch of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in today's gaming market. With the rise of PC gaming, do these next-gen consoles matter as much today than they did, with the launch of the PS3 and Xbox 360? What do you think, Dave?
You had to hit me with a console question. I don't think no. I think console gaming is starting to. I would call it a plateau. I don't think that the sales. Although I haven't looked at the trends, it just seems that the sales of them are starting to flatten out and not rise up. I think it might be more that people don't want to have to upgrade in today's economy. Why upgrade? I already have a working system. I don't need it, so I don't see it now. Plus, PC gaming, I think more people are starting to realize it's better.
Kaz, what do you think?
I think the hardcore element is maybe back to PC. But for those who think console gaming is on a decline, now, I know maybe the growth will be as exponential as it was the previous 15 years. But I mean, console is still the 800-pound gorilla, and PC is the mere mouse. But I think the hardcore gamer element brings back.
I think so too. Yeah, I think I still think console is the one and only thing that the developers look at and say, okay, this is where I'm basing on my the game that I'm making is going to be featured on. If it's a AAA title, it's going to be featured on console. So, and also console seems to hold back the PC market as well. The graphics capabilities, like certain games, like Battlefield 4. Oh my gosh, could you imagine Battlefield 4 if it didn't have to be on consoles first? You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't held back by the 360, if it wasn't held back by the PS3, it would be dramatically different from what it is today. That's what I think. I think the developers would really push its limits on a just pure PC release. But now that you have the next gen coming out, your next game releases are pretty much going to be a step forward, and PC also benefits from that. But yeah, I still think I don't think it matters. I agree with Dave a little bit. I don't think it doesn't matter as much as it used to, because it seems like the PC market is just exploding to some extent. But and a lot of that has to be in thanks to Steam and maybe Origin just a little bit. But definitely, definitely Steam. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting next 2 weeks.
They're getting older, and one thing I've learned about gaming, PC games to me are the more in-depth games. They're like reading the book, if you will, and the console games are more like watching the movie. You know, that instant gratification. And as people get older, they want more, and you get more on the PC. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, you definitely it is definitely easier to release your own game on PC than it is anywhere else. It's still, I know PS4 and Xbox are they're trying to incorporate indie titles more, especially PlayStation, who I believe has done just an amazing 180 from what they used to be. But anyway, that's for the next question. But today you can get a group of guys together who may have some video game talent to them, and they can sit down. You guys can make a game, and you can put it on Steam Greenlight. The fans will decide if your game is worthy or not, and they will vote it up, and then your item will be for sale. There's a game like Paranormal that you'll never see on consoles, never, and it's amazing. I think it's one of the scariest games I've ever played, but you'll never see it on consoles. It was made by one guy for the PC. It got instantly green light, and now it's on for sale. And it's just a very simple concept. It's just a guy walking through a haunted house, and that's it. And just creepy sounds that it plays to your 5.1 surround sound in your headphones, and hear weird sounds behind you. And there's no combat involved. It's just creepy, and it's like, it would be nice to see the consoles starting to do more stuff like that. Open up Xbox Live or PSN and let these weird, cool indie titles flood in more rather than stifle everything, with how they act about pushing everything away. But maybe that's the change. Maybe they're gonna focus on more on this Steam format. I don't know, since they've seen their success. I mean, Steam did good. Yeah, go ahead, Cass.
That goes back to like what I was saying earlier. I mean, the hardcore gamers can gravitate more towards those indie titles, things like that. Whereas, and I don't mean to so often people use like hardcore and casual for good and bad. No, I mean hardcore is in a more involved gamer, a gamer who plays more heavily, is gonna dig into those indie titles, where a more casual gamer, console is still built towards. I mean, you're never going to see sports titles taking off on PC games. You know what I mean? Things of that. Console and PC are, while they have a lot of overlap. I mean, all of us in here, obviously gaming PCs and consoles. There is a lot of overlap, but it is still two distinct markets.
Yeah. Well, that does bring me to my next question. We do have just one question from another anonymous person. They want to know about the complete turnaround of Sony. Do you think that this is real, or if it's just something to sell the PlayStation 4? Meaning, in the past, with the PlayStation 3, Sony was very different. They were more, if you do any kind of thing that we think is any kind of piracy, we're going to sue your ass off, and we're going to come after you, and you can't do this with the system, you can't do that, more DRM, more restrictions, more this, more that, as much as they can possibly do to just interfere with the gaming process. It seems like now with the PlayStation 4, they've done a complete reversal. I mean, they don't even have the, HD or something. It's something that blocked you from running HDMI into something else. I can't remember what it was. It was because they were afraid that people were going to record Blu-ray. Well, they took that out of the PS4, and they're getting rid of online codes like Ubisoft and EA. Online codes are gone, but it seems like Xbox was picking up the torch of Sony's whatever you want to call it. Some people say anti-consumer, but I don't know if it'd be quite anti-consumer. But do you believe that Sony's reversal is legit and how they treat customers and make the process easier? Or do you think That this is all just an act until they actually get the PS4 in your hands, and then all this stuff's going to come back, or they're going to start doing stuff again, or is the company truly changed at this point? Kaz.
Well, I mean, it can be both. Yeah, I mean, there's an opening in the market. Basically, you got Sony. Sony wisely, I think, saw they didn't play their hand until Microsoft saw the backlash that the Xbox, which is the Xbox One now, created. I mean, it's all about making it obvious, but I think they see that there is a market with less restrictions, not such a kind of almost oppressive system that the Xbox One was originally going to be. So, I mean, I think it's both. They're doing it because it will sell. And again, it's way too early. The consoles haven't even come out yet. It's all that pre-release hype, and really for the first 6 months, there's no killer apps coming out for one. But I mean, going into this console, you do see a lot more buzz for that. So I think it's.
What do you think, Dave?
I would say it's all marketing. I mean, you want to get as many of your system in as many homes as possible. You want to make your system as attractive as possible. So hey, we don't have these restrictions. A competitor does. You're going to want the one with less restrictions. So I don't think they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it to make money, and they might renege on it somewhere down the line. They may not. It all depends on what their opponent does. So no, I don't think they're really changing. I would just say they're making a smart business choice. And if it's not lucrative for them, they might turn around and shaft everybody. I personally am not a Sony fan. I do like the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, etc. But I'm not a Sony fan. They ever since Star Wars Galaxies, they bite. They killed Star Wars.
Yeah, they did. Let me turn you up, Kaz, because they're complaining that they can't hear you.
Oh, I know. It's still Sony, though.
Yeah, besides that game's. I've been from beta through combat revamp.
Working, I love
Oh, Kaz loved it too at the beginning, but he.
Oh, with the combat revamp, yeah. No, that ruined that. That was bad.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, Star Wars Galaxies could have been one of the best MMOs ever, but it's like they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
All they needed was good gameplay. That's all they needed. When Warcraft came out, all they needed to do was say, you know what? Everybody else copies everybody. That's what Warcraft does. Something comes out in the game, hey, we're going to put that in our game or something similar to it. All Sony had to do was get wise, get smart, and say, you know what? We need a combat system like that. 'Cause everything else in the game was great. Let's just do it. Let's just adapt something similar to that, and the game would have been fine.
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead and keep talking. I gotta make a real quick run. I'll be right back.
It's gonna go in the head.
Yeah, but Star Wars Galaxies. I take it that's how. Is that how you and Burke met, Krad? Was
Yeah.
SWG? SWG. It was a classic game, but come on. Overnight, it went from a lot of fun to crap when they released the holocrons. I don't know.
The holocrons and the hologrinding, it was horrible. It ruined the entire game. It ruined the entire atmosphere of the game. The game was not about Jedi, Jedi, Jedi. It wasn't supposed to be. And that holocron crap, it killed it. I remember going around to a guy I used to buy my weapons from. I would bring him crate tissue and all this crap. And he had a sign up that said hologrinding, shop closed. Everywhere you went, you saw signs like that on businesses in the game.
Yep. No, that was it in a nutshell. Like I said, they had no idea what they wanted to do with that game. But Sony,
They listened to the few people that cried instead of going with their guns and what was working. They listened to the crybabies. Oh, such and such has a Jedi, and I'm paying the same monthly fee. I should be able to have one too. Now, what they need to do is have a step off their lip and say, "Look, we know what's best. Shut up. We want to keep with the story's continuity. You know, there weren't Jedi's running all over the place in that time frame in that game world anyway. Stick to your guns and tell people shut up."
it was a different time. And yeah, Loyal Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, the PS4 game reviews. That's the problem with any system launch. What game? You know, I mean, it's a lot of hype, and both systems are going to be a lot of fun, but there's going to be hardly any games for either system, or at least 6. That's with every system launch, though, going back to the days of Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just looking at chat, and some people are talking about early reviews. Killzone, I expected it would get a 9.10, or I'm sorry, an 8.10, but Knack is the surprise at 5.9. I would have thought the guy that made Knack is the guy that made the PlayStation, and I would have thought he would have made a pretty badass game, but...
Did you say 8.10? Is that like an 8.1?
8 out of 10, sorry, an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10, but the Knack is a 5.9. Well, yeah, you would think that's basically a 6. How in the hell did they manage to put it as a 5.9? But anyway, Killzone, the new Killzone for PlayStation 3 is considered like the most beautiful out of all of the new released games. So I don't know if any of you guys have played the Killzone series, but it's kind of like a World War II in the future. The Helghast are kind of like they're the Nazis and the other guys are the Allies, and you just kind of fight in the science fiction world, World War II style. So, hello Midas, welcome to the party, or Haze, I should say.
What's up, man?
Hey, set up your... We have this little program. It's OOVOO. That's video call. That's what we're using to chat. And set up an account real quick, and I'll add you to the discussion.
You can just be lazy like me, Mike. It's good either way.
Now, the other thing we had another anonymous question asked by somebody and wanted to know what we thought. And that is Killzone playing, by the way, on the trailer. If you were curious about what it would look like, there it is. Basically, let's talk about the Rome 2 Total War launch. Now, Dave, I'm pretty sure you probably don't know nothing about this, but it is. I don't know if you're interested in strategy games. I think you've told me you had Shogun at one point in time. Is that right?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Well, the release for Total War was probably one of the biggest clusterfucks that I've seen in gaming in a while. It was released broken. They also claimed that they had increased their budget by 40% of, well, I don't know, that's like shit. I can't remember. I think their budget last time was $40 million for Shogun, and then they increased it by they said 40%. So that's all supposed to go to their AI and their development and all this other crap. But when they released the game, the AI didn't work. The freaking game was crashing every 5 seconds. You couldn't do multiplayer. They had removed features that had no reason to be removed, and everyone was kind of scratching their heads because they're paying $60 and they pre-ordered this. And Total War had that moment where they could be something truly relevant, like Grand Theft Auto. When a Grand Theft Auto game comes out, everyone pays attention, right? They can release a Grand Theft Auto every 5 years, and people will still flip balls for it. And Total War was kind of at that point where, hey, here we go. Here's Total War, and everyone's going to flip out for it, no matter what. Now they released a game that was completely broken. They didn't beta test it at all. And I guess the question is this what we have to expect from now on from developers? They don't test the game, they release it buggy, and they'll fix it as we go. What do you think, Dave? Is that our future here for the gaming industry? They'll fix it as they go?
It seems like, sadly, the mainstream has been pulling that shit for a while. I mean, think about every MMO we've ever been in, all the bugs it has, and how many that haven't even made it to fruition because they couldn't even get through the testing phases and they folded ahead of time.
Huh.
I don't have a lot of faith in the in developers. As long as there's no regulations on it, why not? And as long as people are going to buy, why not?
That's true.
That's that way. Agreed.
That's true. What do you think, What do you think, Kaz? Is that our future?
Oh yeah, I mean, starting to. It's the future. It's been like that for a while. SimCity launch, as Krad mentioned, any MMO. I mean, people who bitch about MMO launches these days, wow, seriously. And I don't mean World of Warcraft, although that was a shitty launch as well. But I mean, that's just comes with the territory. Comes with the territory of PC gaming. If you really want to avoid that, then avoid the rush and buy it a month after it comes out, after all the bugs have been fixed. I mean, that's,
Unless it's an
that's the nature
MMO,
of
then I
PC.
say 3 months.
Yeah, it definitely. It seemed like they kind of lost that spark that they could have had with the Rome 2 release. It was. I think it was the most hype I've ever seen for a Total War game. It really was. I was seeing people who never, ever had any interest in the Total War series telling me they were going to buy it. They had to have it. It was too cool. They had to get it, and you know, they blew it. I think, yes, on some extent, I think the developers are like, okay, sure, we can release it, and all of our goofball fans are going to buy it anyway. Yeah, I do believe that to some extent. I think they're going to do mass pre-orders because it was such an amazing trailers and all that stuff that got people hyped up for it. But then I think the next game that they release is going to suffer because of that. And that's sad because Total War is the only place you can get this experience. You cannot find any other game that gives you the experience that Total War does. And it makes me sad because I don't think they're gonna do as well on their next game. I think their next game is going to be like they'll come and announce tomorrow something awesome like, oh, we're going to do Total War, you know, fantasy shitville with dingleberries, and you guys are going to love it. And that's exactly what people are going to think about it. They're going to do half the pre-orders that they did this time. That's what I think, if they do any at all.
I'd like to point out Total War with dingleberries really would.
I think that would be pretty fun. I do. I think it would be kind of cool.
With what kind of berry? Dingle?
Yeah, dingle. Oh yeah, and I'd seen Slime. Have you guys any of you guys seen the trailer for Rise, by the way? It's an Xbox One exclusive. Rise, Son of Rome, and I watched that, and I'm not even getting that system right away, and I thought, holy shit, this is the game that I'm looking forward to. Have you seen that trailer for Rise yet, Kaz?
I have. Now, if memory serves, that was the one with the QuickTime events, correct?
I think it has some. I don't. I hope it's not all QuickTime events.
Actually, here we go. It looks like you've got the trailer playing now on your stream here. Yeah, no, I mean it looks good, but I don't know. Nothing just wowing. The game on Microsoft, or at least the Xbox platform coming out, is that I'm looking forward to is oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but the mech game, the one coming out on PC as well.
Oh, Titanfall.
Hawken?
Yes, Titan.
Oh, not Hawk.
Yeah, Loyal just said the QuickTime events are the finishers, and I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me. I thought it was, kind of like, I know a lot of people bitched about Tomb Raider had way too many QuickTime events. I wasn't really bothered by it. I thought it was fun and it was appropriate when they did it. But I definitely don't want my action being interrupted all the time with some kind of QuickTime event. I don't like that very much. But Rise, that is right up my alley. I mean, it's kind of like they showed him actually taking control of the Legionnaires on the field of battle, ordering these guys to do certain things at certain points. That's exciting. They even did like the phalanx, or the Roman phalanx. You actually were in that and moving the soldiers forward. And I thought, holy shit, with these graphics and ordering a phalanx, it's like a wet dream come true for a guy like me. I love the Roman era. And then I saw the combat, and that got me even more excited. And I don't know. That's the game I'm most looking forward to right now, and I'm a little sad that it's Xbox only. But I hope they do more like this. And I think it was originally going to be a Kinect game, if I remember correctly, is how it was originally supposed to start. You were going to be more like looking through his eyes, and you're going to have to shield block to do anything. And I'm glad they scrapped that. Come on, how many gamers out there? They think Kinect is a great idea, but nobody wants to do that shit. Not really. Maybe your kids, but no adult's gonna want to get up and go, okay, here I go with my sword. I'm swinging. If we wanted to do that shit, we'd be outside playing football. When we're inside here, we want this. But
I'll be completely honest. Like, when I'm gaming, I want to be active and swinging shit around. I'll go outside for that.
exactly. But yeah,
That may be an age thing.
there's the phalanx. I mean, doesn't that looks awesome? They're getting hit with arrows right there. I think that shit's awesome. Just freaking awesome. We'll see, though. I mean, it'll probably come out and it'll get a score of like 3 out of 10. It'll be complete and total shit. The trailers are going to be like the best part of the game. Oh, look at this awesome trailer. Oh, it's fucked. It's fucked. Trailer's screwed. Just like Total War. Well, Haze, I'm glad you're here, buddy, because the next set of questions are actually going to be pertaining to your style of gaming. How's your webcam coming? You got that? You got your VO account yet?
I have no clue what program you told me to set up.
Well, that's fine.
So it's going about how you think it would be going.
We don't need the. We'll do without the webcam. I'll just throw up some kind of picture for you. So the question. Oops, I don't think I can do that. I have to keep it on here, don't I? Because it goes away. No, maybe not. The question. No, it does go away.
Put a realistic picture of Haze up there.
I was gonna go get Hello Kitty and put that up next to his name.
Well, I was gonna say get a small male in his 20s wearing a tutu.
Or I could just get the picture of the Toxic Avenger. Same thing, just with muscles.
Always online for PS4. I doubt it. I doubt that very seriously. Chat.
Okay, so I'm going to be headed to your state in a couple of weeks, so watch what you say or I'll show up in my tutu.
Oh, wait, would that be a threat or a promise?
Oh, it's both, Krad. You better believe it.
Okay, so the question is, again, from another anonymous source. Twitch, you could make the argument that Twitch.tv has become as powerful as it is due to League of Legends. Purely on the back of League of Legends, and then everything else springboarded from that. So, MOBAs, which is like a terrible name to call this. I don't have the answer, but I don't like MOBA. What is it? Multiplayer Online Battle Arena. I think that's what it's called, right?
Is it multi or massive?
It's massive. And then they have, what is it? The other name is Hero Brawler. That's the other thing I've heard it called, Hero Brawler. So, I guess what I'm curious is, what the question is curious about, are MOBAs the new, are they a fad? Are they something that's only going to be around for a short time before people lose interest? Or is this the new gaming medium growing before our very eyes that's going to be dominant in the next 10 years as a major esport? Because last time they did a tournament on Twitch, I think I saw 500,000 people watching that damn stream. That was incredible. I've never seen, everybody else's stream came to a crawl just because of that League of Legends. So I definitely don't think it's a fad. I think these things are only going to get bigger. I do think that League of Legends itself is eventually going to run into some major competition, especially because you have Dota 2 and Han. I don't know if you consider Smite the same thing. It's a little bit different because it's not so much pointing and clicking, but I do think Smite is a part of that genre, but I don't know how you would classify that anyway. But what's your opinions, Haze, since this is your bread and butter?
I definitely think MOBAs are around to stay. They're not going to go anywhere. Like, I don't know. That next 10 years, that's a big span in the world of gaming to jump 10 years into the future. But like, there's so much money in MOBA tournaments right now. Like, there's League of Legends tournaments. There's even Smite tournaments that are, the winning teams are bringing in, $100,000. Yeah, and with that kind of money, obviously, it's got some serious backing. And it's a small. You can compete in the MOBA with a small team. You can't do that in mini games. Like, outside of FPSs, which are kind of getting more large scale teams all the time. There's not a whole lot of like games out there that require 5 people to go out and complete it. It's got a really unique basis to it. MOBAs. I love the shit out of them.
Yeah, what do you think, Kaz? I know I once played a MOBA with you, and it was like playing with somebody who was just first time ever handed a controller.
I thought we were talking about MODOK, or mechanized organism designed only for killing.
No. No MODOK here, man. All MOBA. All the MOBA.
I'm like the one person in our age group that doesn't play a lot of League of Legends or Dota, so I have no opinion. But it would be awesome if it was MODOK. Just saying.
Krad, you've played some, haven't you?
Sure.
Me?
Yeah, you've played some MOBAs, haven't you?
I have. I personally am not into them, but I do not see them going anywhere. Point and click, I was okay when I played Diablo back in the day, but I much prefer to be able to manipulate my character better than what I see a MOBA do. So I get frustrated with it.
Yeah.
Well, Krad, you play Smite?
They're not going anywhere. Huh?
Have you had a chance to play Smite?
Now, Smite I liked more. I did like Smite more. The only thing I would like to see in Smite would be larger maps, but I haven't played it in probably 6 months or more, so I don't know if they've done anything with that. And I would also like to see a little more speed. The attack speed with the basic attack, it was just a little too slow for me. If they need to, tone down the damage, but raise up the speed. I like things speedier than that.
Well, it's funny you point that out because they definitely, like, one thing you can count on Smite, every time they make an update, shit changes. I don't mean like, like they change little things, like they make massive changes. They don't even, the biggest things, they don't announce them. Like they make huge graphic changes and small changes that, like, unless you dig real deep, you can't find. But if they did increase, like, the kind of, like, I know what you mean, when the game came out, the feel when you were playing, it's kind of like you were in sand. Like, always kind of dragging your feet through the game. And they really did change that a lot. Like, it's a much faster paced game now. Like, you feel like it's almost like a real life speed, But the maps haven't changed. I agree, they could have some bigger maps than they do.
The other thing that I didn't like, and again, I don't know if they've changed it, was it felt like I had to be good at PvE in order to PvP. Like, I needed to be able to level my tune-up for that match to be able to really compete, and I personally, I'm not the greatest at PvE. I'm good at taking what I have and killing a player. I'm really good at that. But now I'm competing against somebody that knows how to level up faster, and that annoyed me a little bit. I don't want to have to level my tune so much. I just want to be able to go in there and fight.
I think you would enjoy, what is it, Forge? Forge was a game that was focused on the World of Warcraft style of PvP combat. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
It's a decent game. It's a shame it didn't take off better. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Balancing issues is what I would have to say is one of the things gimping it and advertising.
And also, even Creative Assembly, the guys that make Total War, they're trying to get into the MOBA pie as well with their. I think it was. They're probably changing the name, but I thought it was called Total War Arena. Was what they were announcing. It's going to be some kind of spin-off where you actually control armies in a MOBA style setting. Now, originally we thought it was going to be like Heroes, just like League of Legends and Dota, but apparently it's going to be more army based. And I'm not. That sounds kind of weird for a for a MOBA, where the general consensus is like you have a hero and you level it up and then you rape at that point. But that they're talking about you're going to control armies in an arena MOBA fashion, and I really can't wrap my mind around how that would actually, what that's going to look like. And more news later, I guess.
The more I hear you say MOBA, the more I realize they do need to change the acronym.
Yeah, I definitely think MOBA. I don't think it's going anywhere though. I think it's too late. I think it's too.
No, it's too late.
Yeah, it's too late. It's gonna stay that way. Okay, now for something that we have all participated in. This one's for you, Kaz.
We weren't going to talk about that.
World of Warcraft have announced Warlords of Draenor as the new expansion to the World of Warcraft. Now, what I have heard...
Already run out of continents that we have to revisit old continents.
Oh no, this one's in the past. This one is in the past. See, it's Outland, but it's in the past. So that's what they're going with.
I see a very visual image when I think of this. When I heard this announcement, it involved the Fonz, a motorcycle, and a shark tank.
Well, a lot of people still think WoW has been kind of over since Cataclysm, but I don't know. I've been with WoW for so long, probably gonna have to renew the subscription once Warlords actually does come out, because I'm curious to see what Garrisons is all about. I'm very curious about Garrisons.
You're curious to see what else Metzing can do to shit on the lore?
Hey, you know what? You know what's funny about you actually truly hate Metzen, and he has all his hands on the World of Warcraft movie. So GG on that. Everyone's gonna go insane. Oh, what happened to the hero who saved the world? He went insane. That's Chris Metzen's answer to everything in World of Warcraft. Any battle.
Ben Affleck and Nick Cage as well.
What? Come on. Come on, come on! You can't have Ben Affleck in a Warcraft movie. You can put him in with Batman.
Why not? He's Batman. I know we were talking about this earlier, but it does. Speaking of, I know it's old news for the internet, but like I was saying earlier, Ben Affleck only plays Ben Affleck. So when he has his hand around Superman's throat in this movie, it won't be Batman that got the best of Superman. That's how fucked up this is going to be. Ben Affleck is going to get the best of Superman. Ben fucking Affleck will topple Superman.
It's hard to see him past anything but chasing Amy. That's why I'm atheist. Oh, well, yeah, that movie, I don't know, man. Like, I made fun of a shit ton of Heath Ledger when he was announced as Joker, and then I watched it, and then I was like, okay, well, tomorrow they could announce Oprah Winfrey is playing the Riddler, and I'll be like, here's my $5. Sign me up. I'll be there at midnight.
Actually, Damon Killer 666 actually brought up something pretty cool. Have y'all seen that? Any videos of that?
What is it? Oh, the Oculus Rift? Yes, I have, actually.
Oculus Rift is the bomb.
Yeah, it's supposedly going to be the true virtual reality we've all wanted. Let me pull up a video of that, actually, just so people who know.
See that in Star Citizen.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That'd be great.
It's exciting, but at the same time, my only concern is peripheral-based technology has never really taken off, But this one, it does look really, really cool.
This one looks different because it's the lenses are right up on your eye, so you're not looking around the screen with your head. You can actually look around the screen with your eyes and still turn your head, look around, because it's using the similar technology to the Wii or whatnot.
Yeah. Well, you can see in the video,
Base on your desk.
you can see the guy's looking around, and the camera is actually panning with his eye, with his head, not his eyes, I should say, with his head. And they showed a VR simulation of actually, I have something really funny to tell you guys after this, but they showed like a VR simulation of realistic people in a room, and the character could just walk around looking at all the different people and stuff, and it was like they were actually there. It was so lifelike that you could not tell where they were a 3D image or if they were a real person. And the other reason why...
Japanese. What you're saying is the Japanese have already made a sex game.
That's where I'm going with my next comment, actually.
There's going to be all kinds of sex games.
Have you guys ever heard the...
Purple.
Have you ever heard the saying, as goes the porn industry, so goes the rest of media? Have you ever heard of that phrase before? Yep. Okay, so basically, you go back a few years, right? Well, maybe a little bit more. There was, VHS and 8-track, right? And that was the big battle. Well, the porn industry chose VHS, so VHS dominated. Fast forward a little bit more, and you had DVD and something else. Well, the porn industry chose DVD, and that was the end of that story. Fast forward again, you have Blu-ray and HD DVD. Porn industry chose Blu-ray. So goes the rest of media. The porn industry is making a ton of shit for Oculus Rift. They have adopted this piece of technology for their future endeavors. So I think it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Who wouldn't want that? But we'll see. I mean, it's... Go ahead, Kaz.
I'd want to play
Game
Doom 2
we're playing.
on the Oculus. Just Doom 2. Not like the newer ones. I'm talking the old school freaking
Yeah.
blocky pseudo 3D. That's what I want to play on the Oculus.
I
wanna live
think-
in a world with 2D sprites coming at you in a 3D motion.
I think that would be awesome. Yeah. Just play.
Candy Crush.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Candy Crush.
That's her name is Candy, and I'm crushing.
Exactly. We'll see though, but I don't know. It looks really cool, but like anything, it could bomb too, like really really bad. But like Krad said though, this game, Oculus Rift is going to look really really good on Star Citizen, and I hope some of you guys have seen Star Citizen. If you have not, I will show it to you now. It is, that's right. Where is it? That one good trailer. There it is. I think this is it. Anyway, what is Star Citizen?
What is it, 22, 23 more he's made already?
Yeah, it's made by Chris Roberts. It's made by the same guy that created the Wing Commander games. And he's making a new space sim. He made Freelancer, he made Wing Commander, and he made Privateer, I think. And then he ran into some stonewalling developers or publishers who had no interest in making a new space sim game. And they were like, screw this, you're out of here. And so he retired. And then comes along Kickstarter, and he finds a way to finance a new space sim, like his style of space sim. And thus Star Citizen is born. And it is being billed as what? Like an open world space simulator. Do what you want, how much you want. It'll be completely online. You'll be able to. You can be a pirate. You can be a trader. You can be a military guy. You can do anything you want. You just fly around in space, and yeah. Not quite like some people didn't like EVE Online, which I understand because it's a little different concept. This is going to be like you are in the cockpit, as you can see the ship taking off there, and I have missed these kind of games. And Chris Roberts is a well-known name. He got his Kickstarter. He got millions of dollars donated to him, and he's still getting millions of dollars donated to him to this day for this game. Because,
I have a ship.
yeah. Have you seen this game,
I
Kaz?
have your ship.
Oh, who are you talking to? Are you kidding? Are you kidding? I donated to Kickstarter, my friend.
All right, there he is. I didn't know if you did or not. I hope you donated at least the minimum amount to get into the alpha once that goes live, because that is going to be a blast.
Oh, dude, you got to see the hangar module. It's actually pretty cool.
It is cool. It is. They're adding. He is like. every time he gets a new $1 million, he adds like what 5 more star systems and like another ship and new features that you can't get. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the one that's coming out, let's see, next week is X Rebirth, and they're trying to get out ahead of this game. So I don't know if that's going to hurt them or not. But X Rebirth is known for its space simulator, but it's one of those space simulators like your entire keyboard does something. And I'm not too down with that. I don't want an extreme simulator where this button does something, turns light A on my top here, and this button over here flips my little hula girl. I don't care about all that crap. I'm more of a freelancer style of a space sim guy. I just want my mouse to control my movement and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever gotten into the X series, Kaz? I think you got it last Christmas, didn't you?
Very briefly. It's just been a busy year.
Yeah.
Played it very, very lightly. It's good, but this looks better.
Yeah, Haze. Are we talking Greek to you here, man? Have you ever played any of these space sims before?
None that I enjoy, but I am watching the trailer for Star Citizen. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish you would have been here earlier when we were talking about Rise. I definitely would have wanted your opinion on that game, because that's right up your freaking alley, buddy. You got to watch that trailer while we're talking, and then you can chime in and see what you want. We'll see what you think of it. But let's see what we were going to talk about next. Wait, go ahead.
Really what it comes down to is if I can kill other people in a game that are other players in real life, then I like it. So.
It's true. It's true. That's very true. Shoot, I forget what the next thing to talk about other than what did somebody say? The Xbox One. Its 2 major launch titles are Dead Rising 3 and Rise: Son of Rome. So, let's see here. What do you guys think of... we didn't really get the chance to talk about the Warcraft expansion. Is that going to bring any of you guys back? Have you read much about it? Are you interested in it?
I revived my guild already. I'm technically playing now.
Yeah, are you going to keep it?
What I've seen so far of the expansion looks promising. I do like the graphical enhancements they've made to the character models. I've only seen a handful of them that they have displayed, but they look decent, and it's long overdue. What I would say of Blizzard is they need to stop being reactive and looking at the game as a cash cow and being fat, lazy assholes, and they need to be proactive. Do something new. Stop reacting to what other games are doing.
Yeah. I bet you... I know, Kaz, I know, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What is your opinion on War? Because I know you're kind of... You were kind of happy about the announcement with Diablo 3, with its new expansion, and you are coming back a little bit toward Blizzard's side. You've been hating on them for a while.
I may pick up Diablo 3's expansion, but Warcraft... I mean, it's kind of in vogue to shit all over World of Warcraft. It was a fun game for many, many years, but really, how many times can you go back and play the same game? And essentially, that's what it is, the same game engine. I know it's vastly different than what it was at launch and everything else, but I played it all the way through to the end of Cataclysm, some of that in a very, very high-end rating environment. It's just, I don't know what does it bring new to the table anymore? And
that's the problem with it. It hasn't brought anything really new. That's the problem with the game. It's the same content redone over and over and over again. They try to say, oh, we've added new content. No, you added a new raid. You added a new battleground. You added a new this. You haven't done any new content. Would have been player housing or ship-to-ship battles on the sea, bounty hunting, going out and tracking down other players, going to like some NPC that can give you a hint about where the guy might be, like a dirty dirtbag like that, some underground type of person, being able to put on a disguise and actually walk around Orgrimmar if you were a human, track down that troll you needed to kill and whack his ass. That's new content. They have no idea of what new content is. Like I said before, they're lazy and they're milking it like a cash cow. They need to come out with new content. That's why their total number of users has dropped like half of what it was at peak.
It's an old game, and in their defense, they did. From what I understand, the garrison system is going to be player housing, or a form of player housing. But it's just everything about it just screams old, and the environment is dated too. I'm just sick of the Warcraft universe, especially I love making fun of Mets because he really does just mail it in these days. And that's been confirmed by people who worked for Blizzard, as Burke, from a couple of guys we've talked to.
Yeah.
Metzen is mailing it in, and it's quite obvious. The world itself is boring. It truly is. There was a time when, it ripped off Warhammer to a degree. It did, but Warcraft had its own unique kind of world. Now it's just, just not interested at all, to be honest. I'll probably, there's some MMOs I'll follow, come in and out of. Star Wars: The Old Republic, I think, definitely gets ripped on more than it should. SWTOR is actually, a pretty solid game. Not something you would play every day of every week of every month, but something to check in on from time to time. I just started Final Fantasy XIV. I found it to be outstanding. Love the job system. Any Final Fantasy fans, old school FF fans especially. The job system in FF14 alone is amazing. A lot of fun. Definitely worth checking out.
That is definitely a good comeback story, isn't it? Final Fantasy: The Realm Reborn. They released a piece of dung, shit, worst. How the fuck could you ever release this kind of game? And they bring it down. They apologize to their fans, and they start from scratch. They rebuild the entire game. They actually bring in some solid talent. They properly test the damn thing this time before they release it. And now we have an MMO that I'm hearing nothing but good things about. I haven't played it myself yet, but I hear nothing but great things about it. Just non-stop praise from it. People are talking like the job systems, like you said. I'm not really a graphics person, but they say the graphics are phenomenal as well. And I give them kudos for being man enough to say, hey, we fucked up, and we're going to redo the whole thing.
Square Enix definitely get the Big Balls of 2013 award. I mean, to totally scrap your game, acknowledging that it's a failure, and rebuild it from the ground up. I mean, it is an amazing success story, and I hope they are rewarded for it, because I'd like to see more developers, when they do fuck up, fix their mistake. I mean, these are large investments, and the product that Square had originally and the product they have now are night and day. I mean, literally night and day. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, how long do you think it'll? Like, I think a lot of people are wondering how long before it does go free to play though, because it looks like free to play is, for better or worse, that's how things are going to be from now on, especially PC. Like a lot of that, besides Steam, a lot of people think that free to play MMOs has brought back PC gaming. It just doesn't. It's hard to compete with an MMO that charges you, as opposed to a game like Star Wars: The Old Republic, which now is free to play, and it's a good free to play model. I liked it. I got to see the content I wanted to see, and I did eventually pay for a few things. So they got money from me that they normally would never have received if they didn't go free to play. Because I wouldn't pay the money, not when you have all these other options. And I still like Star Trek Online. I know a lot of people hate that game, but I still like Star Trek Online. I understand the ground combat sucks, but I really love just getting in a bird of prey and flying through space and maybe launching some photon torpedoes just to get my jollies off, and then I'm happy to get off again. But I don't know.
Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see FF14. At least my instinct would tell me I don't think you're going to see FF14 14 go free to play, just simply from the fact that it's a Japanese game, not Korean, not American, two markets that have embraced the free to play MMO model. Japanese game developers on business models, at least, are a little bit behind the time.
I do have a solid gripe about that kind of stuff. My number one thing is exactly just like you said, the Japanese developers, they're very stubborn, and I think that's why Sony was so terrible there in the PS3 era, is that they're just so damn stubborn. Oh, Xbox come out with voice chat. Oh, we ain't gonna do that. You're gonna text. Hi, would you like to play a game? And then you gotta wait for 30 minutes for an answer. Screw that shit. But finally, they've come around and they're doing that now. But their RPG elements are still, I guess there's just the fans who love that style. You got the wall of text that you gotta read. You gotta read a book to find out what the hell is going on in the quest, and then you gotta read another quest text to find out how the fuck you're supposed to proceed with the quest to actually complete it. That is a Japanese RPG in a nutshell, where the Westernized are like, hey dude, these guys suck over here and these guys suck over here. Follow this waypoint, go over there and fuck them up for me. And that's how you play a Western RPG. And that's how I prefer it, actually. I would like to see the Japanese kind of pick up the voice chat, and I think you have said that, Kaz, that there is a lot more voice chat in Final Fantasy XIV. Isn't that right?
Well, there's some. You have cutscenes. It's they did a version of instancing that's pretty cool. Kind of a take on what some other MMOs have done in the past. Where, well, take everybody knows WoW. WoW's a great point of reference. Hogger. Everybody remembers having to wait for fucking Hogger to respawn, right? The way Final Fantasy XIV gets around that is once you get up there with your party to where the named mob would be, it seamlessly launches into its own instance, and it is fairly seamless. There's no loading screen and things of that nature. And it's situations like that where you have cutscenes with dialogue. You really don't see it so much on the quests. Like SWTOR, that's one thing SWTOR will spoil you on. If for MMO players who've never played SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic, it will spoil you with the fully voice acted dialogue.
Yeah.
You think it's not a big deal until you go play something that doesn't have it, and you're like, oh my god. It's like taking a step backwards. It really, really is. You don't think it's a big deal until you do with that.
Midas, what do you think? You going to be loading up Warcraft come Warlords of Draenor? Are you going to get sucked back in with the prospects of glory this time around? Now that you can actually have garrisons, which you can actually, I think, show off your PvP prowess to people.
I don't know about illusions of grandeur or anything like that, but I will buy the expansion, fire it up, hit max level at a rapid rate like I always do, way faster than you want me to, because I do not give a fuck about the story or the content. I will get a big two-handed weapon, I will go face roll some noobs in PvP, and I will once again respectfully retire.
Yeah. That's too bad I don't have his webcam up, because I've just put warrior there right now, because that's Midas in a nutshell, is the warrior. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same. I mean, I've played Warcraft for so long now that I'm probably gonna have to load it back up.
You will load it back up, and you will follow me around, and you will level at a respectful rate, because you are my healer, and that's what you do.
Oh man, the days of healing in WoW. We still haven't really had a solid arena season. We always either come in midway, or we come in late, or we quit just before the next season. That seems to be our MO lately with the PvP scene.
Rite of passage in WoW to reduce burst as your teammate.
Why not? Why not? Make me cry. I don't care. I'm man enough to cry.
Did I ever arena with you?
No, I think briefly. We did an arena. Like, it was goofy shit. Nothing serious. It's like we were just like, ooh, let's go in there and get like 100 arena points. We got him. That was it. We didn't push it. The farthest I ever got in arenas was with Kaz. Seriously. And I was a terrible teammate for him to have anyway. He could have got a lot farther without me.
Rephrase that question. The furthest he was ever carried.
No, that's actually more accurate, I think. I think that is pretty damn accurate. I was...
The saddest part, because the years of being my healer and our lack of success, Damon took over healing me for one season, and we rolled faces. So, and Krad, if you played WoW with us, what name would I know you by?
No, we never played with Krad. He was always on something, and we were always on something else. So, different servers. But I've known Krad since Star Wars Galaxies, but we've never actually sat down and played anything. So, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of that noise with the World of War crap. World crap. Right, Kaz? The World of War crap.
Yeah.
World of War could have been so much more.
So
You can hate on WoW all you want. It's still the greatest game that ever was. I'm just saying.
Oh, I agree. I do agree with that. I think it was, and it had a lot to it. Oh well, yeah. There's that game too, and I have a sneeze coming,
Frontier Pharmacist.
but it's gone now. Don't you just hate that? You feel the sneeze coming, and you're like, and then it just fucking disappears, and you're like, and then you're left with that unsatisfied feeling. You're like, I want to sneeze. I was ready for it. Shit.
Now what's worse is when you go.
I'll give it better. Loyal Phoenix, I'll give WoW better than Call of Duty. Hey, like I said, we played WoW for years. It's just old. But the greatest ever, that would be the yeah, I open.
Speaking of Call of Duty Ghosts,
Mass Effect, and I don't care what the internet says about the Mass Effect. That was the most mind-blowingly amazing series I've ever played in 33 years on this earth.
StarCraft Ghost was the greatest game ever. That never happened.
it could have almost happened multiple times. And then it got crushed because they were like, meh. We'll put her in there with StarCraft 2.
Best game ever.
What game was that?
Dark and Light. I'm being sarcastic.
Oh yeah. That was another game that had a shit ton of potential that they completely shit all over. But
They shit the bed.
so right now, Kaz, you prefer Battlefield 4 over Call of Duty. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Battlefield
Make me
4 is still
sick.
a lot of fun. The dynamic levels, while gimmicky, are still a lot of fun. The gameplay of it, it's classic Battlefield gameplay, and just Call of Duty kind of has evolved into smaller and smaller, close quarters combat. Like I said, I always joke around, the next map pack is going to be a shoebox where they just hand everybody a knife and say, go at it.
Yeah, why not? Well, you can actually set that kind of map up, I think, at this point. So if you want to do that.
I'd make the argument that Battlefield is probably more realistic to real-time war, but in that same argument, I would say that Call of Duty takes more skill to compete in.
Yeah. You could make that argument, I guess.
It's hard to survive in a shoebox where everyone has a knife. It's not terribly hard to survive on a football field where 10 guys have guns. Assuming the football field has obstacles, obviously.
It's although I will say this, Battlefield 4, it's definitely a little more frantic than 3. You can't really stay still like you could in Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 had a slower pace to the matches. This is more closer in style, or in spirit, I should say, to Battlefield 2. I think for those who haven't played and have played previous versions, this is, I think, everything 3 should have been. It's been enjoyable. I really didn't think I'd get hooked on a Battlefield game again. Really enjoyed it.
That's good. I've played like all through middle school, high school. All I ever played were first-person shooters, like religiously. That's all I ever did. So as I got out of high school, I started to be more interested. Like StarCraft really broke me out into the strategy genre. So once I got past that first-person shooter phase in my life, Call of Duty games don't really hold that appeal to me as what am I trying to say? As they once used to. I get bored with them. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm sure there are Call of Duty fans galore. I mean, obviously it's still streaming high on Twitch, so it's still a great game. But just me as a gamer, I need something different. I need more than just having a gun in my hand and running around a field and shooting. That's why I still constantly choose Battlefield, or a game like Titanfall really interests me. And Destiny
It's amazing.
Yes, it does. And Destiny is interesting because it's made by Bungie, or the new Bungie, whatever you want to call them, because I still think Halo was kind of a more, more interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like different enough that I could keep my interest. I'm not so much a straight up shooter kind of guy like Call of Duty. I'm more like if it's a little bit sci-fi and rocket jump, stupid shit like that. If I can do that, I enjoy it significantly more. But I don't know. There's not a lot of. I think I would choose Battlefield 4 if I had to pick, Dave. Between Call of Duty and Battlefield, I think I'd choose Battlefield every time. That's right.
Me personally, I'm getting bored of shooters.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's you got indie galore.
And again, like you said, no, I'm not saying they're bad. They've got their place. They can be a hell of a lot of fun. It's just, and especially on PC with the amount of aimbotters. Consoling, it's not anywhere near as bad, but I do mostly PC gaming, and the aimbotting on PC is horrendous in just about any game that has hitboxes.
Right. Yeah. Well, shit, what was I going to say? I had something in my mind, and then I just floated away like a butterfly.
Game I want to see if anybody heard of real quick. Anybody ever hear of Starflight?
Starflight. I've heard of the game Starfighter. You ever play that? PlayStation 1, 3DO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, we're talking an old DOS game.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
The old EA game, right? Mid-80s?
Yes. Yep. Had the Thrin, the Veloxy, the Eloan.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had it on Commodore 64.
That was later. Yeah, that came out a little bit after it. It was like they polished the graphics up a teeny bit. Those were the kind of games that I played. They had that game, I can't remember how many it was. It was something like 80 different planets, or no, not planets, solar systems you could go to. You could go down on the planets in a terrain vehicle and explore them, and that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, and they also had shit. What was a game called? Well, the one that I was just talking about, Star Citizen, or not Star Citizen, Starfighter, where it was atmospheric. You could fly up into space and then fly back down, and that's an old ass game. And they've never done that again, except for I think Echelon Mercenary does that. You can actually land on the planets, any planet you want.
They're starting to talk about atmospheric penetration. I really just wanted to say penetration. EVE Online.
Oh, EVE Online. Now that's a game. That is a game that is still growing.
All-time favorite game. But I can't get anyone to play it because it's too hardcore, and even though I love all my friends that play, they're too much pussies. A wormhole.
It's one of the last few games that actually has permadeath in it. To an extent. Permadeath. You can clone yourself and have insurance on your clone, but Well, like, I'm sorry, it doesn't really have true permadeath. I shouldn't say that. It has, if your character dies, it does. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you don't have your clone and your spirit, if you will, your soul that knows everything, yada yada yada, it gets transferred to the clone body. And if you have a clone that is of a certain grade, all of your knowledge is retained. However, if your knowledge has surpassed the level of your clone, you de-level. You don't remember everything. You're not as smart as you were, and you have to relearn it. So if you don't have any clone at all, your clone is shit, you de-level a crap ton.
Now,
It's a game, if you know it has real-time leveling. You have a skill that some skills take 30 days to learn. I just did one that took 45 days to learn.
There's two questions that have showed up in chat that I did want to ask everyone. Now, Haze, have you ever played the Elder Scrolls games at all, like Oblivion or Skyrim or any of that stuff?
Very little.
Well, the Elder Scroll games are making their first MMO online game. Now, I don't, everyone has their opinions about it, but they did add a feature to it that a lot of people are very, very excited about. It's the first-person view mode. Just like you play all past Elder Scrolls games. It's not third. You don't have to have third person. You can have first person. You can play it with your hands out. Sword, play it like that. Does that excite you guys at all? Does that sound like an interesting concept? The same guys that made Oblivion and Skyrim are making their own MMO, and you can play it in first-person view. Kaz. No Krad, huh?
Yeah. I get the excitement for it. Elder Scrolls is a very, very popular series, and I recognize, especially as an RPG fan, that I am in an extreme minority that really doesn't like the Elder Scrolls series. So I'm not too keen on it. So I haven't really been following it as much. That's just because every time I bought an Elder Scrolls game, everybody would tell me, you included, oh no, this is the one that you're gonna really, really like. It's the problem with some sandbox games is they become so spread out that they become spread thin, and I've always found the Elder Scrolls series to be that very, very thin, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Midas? Does that sound interesting to you? I mean, you're playing an MMO and you get right up into the face of the bosses and other players for that matter, and fight. Is that something that interests you?
The idea of them making an MMO kind of intrigues me because I thought Skyrim was a great game. Even though I didn't get to play it much, got to watch quite a bit of gameplay and hear a lot about it. But the idea of playing any MMO or any game for that matter other than a first-person shooter from the eyes of my hero or character or creature, it just makes me sick to my stomach. I'm a third-person kind of view. It doesn't matter if I'm racing a car or, fighting demons. I want to be looking at the back of my hero. I want to see what he looks like. It's just a game. I don't want to try to pretend that I'm actually there.
Amen.
I actually agree. I am definitely someone who likes third person over first person, but I do get the draw. I understand why lots of people will be interested in the first person because if you're an Elder Scrolls veteran, that's what you're expecting. But I have always enjoyed games from a third person view than the first. Now go ahead.
I was going to say the big advantage for me there is I'll always play from third person if it's an option. If it's not an option, I won't play. But if you're playing from first person and I'm playing from third, my big advantage is when I circle strafe you, you'll be confused in real life, not just in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
Yeah, field of view is it's superior in a third person.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine if in real life, this is coming from, a fighter standpoint, obviously, but imagine if in real life I could see my back at all times. How would you have an advantage to attack me versus if I could only look in front of me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
The appeal, I do understand the appeal. It's just something personally, I'm not a huge fan. But I get the appeal.
I get the appeal too, but I'd have to say I think we are the majority. Every game I've played where they have the third-person option, and I've played with a lot of different people over the years, everybody says, hey, is there a button, is there a hotkey for third person?
Mm.
I haven't had many people say, hey, can I put this in first person?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do hear that too. And I always look for that in any kind of game.
Trick your tune out.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see what your character looks
You
like.
trick your tune out and it's all cool looking. You know, I don't want to just see through it. Who was it? I can't remember your names. I'm so bad at names.
What, Haze or Kazuuk?
I think it was Midas.
Yeah, Haze. Midas. You can go by either.
Yeah. You want to see your character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's an advantage. I mean, I think it's a great advantage. Like I said, you know, it doesn't matter if you're racing and you want to be able to see who's coming up behind you in your car, or if you're any kind of fighting that you're doing in a game, like you want to be able to see around your character. Knowing your surroundings is everything to be an advantage. Versus, like, we all played World of Warcraft. We all scrolled up at one point to first-person point of view and tried running around and doing shit. It was fucking terrible.
I think it's
greater field of view in third person.
I think it's safe to say that their first-person view is going to be cool to have, like if you're out killing monsters by yourself, but no one who's going to do any kind of player versus player, and no one who's going to do any kind of raiding, no one who's going to do any kind of major questing is going to use it, because you are at a disadvantage when you are in first-person view. So I think third person is going to win, and it's just a nice feature for the guys that absolutely got to have it. I think that's about it. It's not something that's being forced on you.
I don't trust the competence of other gamers enough to play in first-person point of view. I don't want somebody, like, you know, when we wipe or something goes horrible or whatever, like, you know, and being like, oh, sorry, I forgot to look down at my feet.
Says the guy who wiped us on Velastrad. Shot Midas.
It was epic.
I can say I have never ever once wiped a raid in Warcraft.
Okay, now wait, in my fucking defense here, right, while we're on this topic, did you ever do Blackwing Lair, Krad?
The reason I can say I've never wiped a raid is I've never been in a raid in Warcraft.
Okay, well, I'll exclude you from this conversation. And Birkencast, fuck you guys, alright? I accidentally hit the shoot button. It's not like Warriors have a reason to have a shoot button out, but I hit it, shit happened, over it, deal with it.
Who the fuck was that?
That was pretty much my reaction. I was in there saying, all right, guys, this is what we're going to... What the fuck?
More dots.
I get a message from Midas going, I'm going to find out who the fuck did that. I was like, all right. He's like, I scrolled back. He's like, oh, fuck, dude, I did it. It says Midas hits Velastraz for 10 damage. that was pretty epic.
Because, like, I was in charge of the DPS for that fight and shit, so I was mad. I was like, really? You know, we got all set up and everything, and somebody blew that shit, messed up my pots and all that. I did tell Burke, I was like, don't worry, bro, I got this. I'm gonna tell you who did that. I'm gonna ream their ass. Then I had to, like, suck my pride and be like, hey, bro, that was me. I did that.
Don't worry, I'm hitting myself against the wall right now.
Dude, I mean, I wish I was streaming.
And then
I wish I had been streaming back in those days. Those people would laugh their ass off.
for the rest of time, every time our guild entered that room, everyone would be like, Midas, put your gun away.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Midas, put your gun away. Okay,
I think I would put that in the raid leader, leader chat.
last question of the night before we call it. Since I think everyone has had at some point some interest in this game. Midas never had a chance to play it, but he was interested. Dave and I played it together, and Kaz was very close to buying Arma 2, I think, just to play it at one point in time. But now the DayZ standalone is almost upon us. You're seeing some early gameplay going on right now. It is, if you don't know what it is a zombie survival, extreme zombie survival. You die, you're dead. It has got permadeath galore in this game. Scavenging, hunting for items, a true survival game with just like straight up like the Walking Dead series. Humans may not be your friends. Some of them are evil bastards who just want to kill you and take your stuff. How interested are you guys going to be in the DayZ standalone? Not a mod. This is an official game release for one of the most played games on Twitch.
I can't wait. One of my favorite gaming moments occurred in Star Wars Galaxies. You remember the grind Imperial players had at the beginning of the game to get their Imperial ATSTs? And, Imperial players would have 3 of them out for the ones that really grinded hardcore for like 2 months straight, just, raping the Rebel players with that. The day they fixed
gosh.
Remember this patch?
Yes.
The day they fixed them was like the day that their unholy reign of terror ended. I've never gotten more satisfaction than the tells I got with tears in them from Imperial players crying over their 2 months worth of grinding down the drain after I destroyed their ATSTs. So yes, I want that level of satisfaction in DayZ when I just kill somebody who's been alive for like 2 months. 2 months of in-game time. Just that'll be a beautiful moment. Beautiful.
So you're going to be a bandit. It's safe to say you're going to be a bandit. Setting up those sniper perch shots. And Dave, I'm sure that of everybody here, you have to be the most excited for the DayZ standalone.
I'm actually not as excited as I was hoping I'd be, because I think he has taken far too long to get to this point, and the competition is drawing on him. And the other thing that frustrated me about DayZ, that I don't have an answer for it. I want to be able to play this game and feel like I'm in the zombie apocalypse, and the game's mechanics are all there. The problem is there are too many cockrags that are just going to cap you because they're little dickheads with small penises that are sitting in their basement, and that's why they get their jobs. And I want them to have some type of a conscience and be afraid, like, if I miss this motherfucker, he's going to whoop my ass and I'm dead, and I'm...
So you want more penalties on death?
I want penalties on an account being a fucktard. That's what I want.
I see.
If
Okay.
you're constantly capping people being a douchebag, then you need to be penalized for it. You need to be flagged.
What if somebody...
Some type of penalty.
What if somebody is trying to be like the governor? I mean, the governor from Walking Dead, he's a douchebag. And you do have people like that. So, I don't...
Even the governor wasn't laying in a bush shooting every little bastard that walked by. Governor didn't do that. He was systematic about it. He picked and chose who he let come in and stay. He's an evil fuck, don't get me wrong, but he had a rhyme to his reason. I'm talking about the little peckerwoods that just sit there. I'm going to sit here in the bushes. I'm going to touch myself until I see somebody, and then I'm going to shoot him. I hate this.
They could find a simple solution to that, Krad. Like, they could do something as easy as, like, every time a player kills another player, just have it increase something on that player. Like, we'll call it a scent mark. Every time I kill another actual living player, it increases my scent mark. The higher my scent mark, the farther I attract zombies from. Thus, the more I'm an ass, the sooner I die.
Yeah, something like that I'd be fine with.
Or a bounty system.
I would prefer a bounty system. They need bounty systems in every game with PvP, as far as I'm concerned.
Amen.
I don't want the scent mark's a neat idea. I like that, but I don't want it to just be for that life. I want it to be over and over and over again, to where you have to do something to unfuck your account. Because let's face it, you're a douche. You're a douchebag. You're an asshole, and this is what you deserve.
Grand Theft Auto 5 online does that. If you are if you're constantly a dick, doing things that are kind of more like griefing and not really like PvP, you eventually get to wear the dunce hat, and you can only join servers with other people wearing the dunce hat. So you just you just stuck forever playing with people that the karma system exactly, and that's all you do is just
Cockrag, and you belong with other cockrags.
cock rags. There you go. How about you, Midas?
A cockrag. My brother taught me what a cockrag was.
Yeah.
He had it in his glove compartment.
I would totally buy, like, I have a console game, in a minute. Based on graphics, though, because, I'm really a graphic guy when it comes to how a game looks. It's gotta look good. I won't really play it. I would buy a console to play a good, like a solid, massive online zombie apocalypse game. I would buy a console for that. That's a bit of a dedication. Now, not to hate on Krad, but I would be a cockrag. Like, if I saw him living player, he'd be dead as fuck every time. I would take his stuff, because in the real zombie apocalypse, I would have my small group of people that I took care of, and everyone else that crossed me, if we could benefit from their death, it's a motherfucking zombie apocalypse. You're dead, bud. You crossed the wrong motherfucker. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
You're going to sit there and spawn camp and go like in. Did you?
Well,
play
no,
DayZ?
there's no joy from spawn camping. The joy in that is when you kill somebody who's been alive for a long time. That's the real joy. That's like, my other favorite moment, also in SWG, was remember when Jedi were permadeath when they first came out?
Yeah.
Just talking that guy and
As it
ripping out his
should have
lightsaber
stayed.
and then ganking the shit out of him. It was glorious. It was wonderful. I cried. I laughed. It was beautiful.
They could also make in a zombie apocalypse game, like, they could set up, like, if it was I'm sure there'd be a huge complaint by people doing that. If the game was real mainstream, they could do lots of things to prevent it, like you can't kill any other players until your character has logged in so many live hours, and you can't kill other players until their character has logged in so many hours. Thus, you can't kill someone right when they spawn, and until you've been alive for a long time, you can't kill someone. You do that, well then you're going to have this one guy that's like pro, right? He's been alive forever, he kills everyone that spawns. Implement that with the same kind of system that the more people you kill, the more zombies you attract. So the longer you're alive, the more people you kill. When you get to the point where you can kill people, the more likely you are to die and lose everything. I mean, I think they'd make fail-safes, because I see what you're saying. That would get annoying. Like, every time you come alive, someone perma-kills you. Every time you come alive, someone perma-kills you. But they'd have to make a system to combat it. If like the game was mainstream and we're talking big time game here, then they'd have to do something to prevent that system.
You would like this one. My boy is I got a son, and I got him an account for DayZ on his Steam account, and he got a rangefinder, a decent gun, blah 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 blah. He got his hunting knife, his hatchet, so he can skin animals, and he's totally self-sufficient. His canteen, he's all happy, and now he's nervous about losing it. He doesn't want to die. He's actually skulked around, dodged players, dodged zombies, and did it all on his own. He was only 11 playing the game, and I debate whether I should have been letting him play at 11. And he says, "Dad, I'm gonna log in. Can you watch my back?" And I'm like, "All right, buddy, go ahead." I logged out in this barn. I said, "Ooh, you shouldn't log out in a barn. You shouldn't log out in any of the points of interest." Oh, son. So he logs in, and he's like, "Dad, why do I look so weird?" I said, "Son, that's not you. That's a guy standing in front of you. There's an asshole, a cockrag, up in the barn, up in the loft part, looking down at the entrance with his rifle focused, waiting for some poor bastard to walk in, right off the beach. Right near the starting area. What should I do, son? What do you think?" And that's when I hear, right in the back of his head, and I was like, "That's my boy."
Oh yeah, I mean, I think DayZ has what two competitors right now. They have neither, and they have
infestation survivor stories.
which
Another one.
I do despise Infestation. I think I don't like dicky developers, and those guys were dicks to their customers. So
They were dicks. State of Decay is it's a one-player game.
I play State of Decay.
Sandbox.
yeah,
That game, what I was reading on that, is actually
working on
a
that.
step towards making
Yeah.
multiplayer. Yeah.
I think State of Decay is the best zombie game that has been released. Because you're not playing you're not playing as a main character. You're playing as a group, and you have to manage your group. You have to go out and hunt for supplies. You have to zombie hordes, and you have to do all these crazy things, and you have to fight off people. But buggy as hell when it was released, but they loved it so much that you ignored the damn bugs and you played it anyway. But yeah, that's definitely got a lot of potential for whatever online game they're going to make. But other than what is it, Infestation, which is a joke. I haven't played neither that much, but I hear it's kind of like more player versus player driven than anything else. But I don't like this feel with the I don't even know what you call this genre, survival I don't know what they're calling it, but I don't like this.
I think they call it survival horror, don't they?
Well, I mean that would put it in the same boat as Resident Evil. I don't know if it would be a survival horror per se. I mean, it kind of. I mean, that would be my initial knee-jerk reaction to call it.
They should call it apocalyptic survival. Because that's essentially what all of them will have in common. It's some type of apocalypse, and you're surviving it.
Yeah. It's called Nether. Oh, okay, not Neither. Gotcha. Okay. Nether then. But anyway, my point being is that, you'll log into the game, and you go and you spend $5, and you buy yourself a baseball bat, so you can spawn in with a baseball bat. And other than that, then they make everything else outside very hard to get. They don't spawn it, so if you pay for and then you lose the bat if you die. So I don't really like that form. I prefer DayZ. Just let me play. Let me pay my fee to buy the game. If you want me to pay extra shit, then let me pay for customization. Like, ooh, cool, my guy has a nifty hat or some bullshit like that. I hope that DayZ does not go down the path of saying, hey, spend this money and you can start with full metal jacket and a full set of armor. I do not like that. I think that would really, really suck.
Pay to win.
Yeah, pay to win. I don't like that concept. So I'm hoping that they don't follow that suit. That would suck horrendously. But yeah, I'm excited about the DayZ. Yeah, I'm very excited about DayZ, and I think all four of us should play it. And don't worry, Haze, you don't have to buy a console. DayZ is completely a PC game. I think they're not releasing it for console as well, are they? I don't believe so.
No.
Yeah, it's purely.
I'll tell you what.
Purely
if I could
console.
Get everybody in here just to play frickin' Eve, I'd be playing Eve, and we could go around being total dickheads in Eve for a reason.
You might get Kaz to do it, but I don't think Midas would ever play. It's too boring of a game. It's a real slow.
Tackling some poor dumbass that went into low-sec space without a convoy, and tackling him, and then opening up a chain of communication and telling him, transfer 500 million ISK to my account, or we're going to decimate your ship. That's fun. And then you've got 5 manticores that come out of stealth, decloak, and lock the fucktard.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that would be fun. I've always be down for that.
Commander Krad Rano.
I'm always the fucktard in space games. If I can't punch it, I can't beat it. I would be the guy that you're about to kill.
Oh gosh.
All these ships just came after me, they blew me up. They asked for something called ISK. What the fuck's ISK?
No, it's not even like that. It's like one monitor and two keyboards later. I'm like, yeah, I played Eve for about 30 minutes. I broke some shit when they killed me, and then I logged off.
I stopped doing that when I bought. I was 14. I've got abnormally strong big hands, right?
Yeah.
And I was 14 years old, and I bought one of those really nice. I think it was a Sega Genesis controller with all the little speed turbo buttons and all that shit. And I can't remember what game I was playing, but I literally took the controller and snapped it in half like a pencil because I got angry. And I bought it myself. And I was like, I had to cut the lawn all summer to buy this. Fuck! Never broke another thing again. To this day, I've not broke anything of mine.
Yeah, I learned that lesson long ago from my dad too. Don't, because I was in that habit of taking the controller and going, gosh damn it, just because he had to let that anger out. And then one day I cracked the controller, and my dad was like, guess what, bitch? I ain't buying you another one. Have fun playing with that piece of shit. See you later. Of course, I got the duct tape out, and I was like, and I was real gentle with it ever since. Never broke another controller again. So yeah, but go ahead.
Sorry, I know I got my headset on tonight. It's kind of jacked up. Don't ask why, because that kind of goes with this conversation. But obviously, I made too much money from a young age because, like, I was always working. I was always buying new controllers and shit. And I had an older brother who I was very competitive with. So I'll tell you all right now, the original PlayStation controller was a thing of beauty. You could not be broken, and it was also one hell of a weapon.
I could just see him. Get off me, you bitch! Death by Tool Shock. There you go. Okay, so DayZ standalone comes out. We're all buying it. We're gonna put the posse together, and we're gonna go hunt some cock rags. Is that right, Krad? We're gonna hunt the cock rags out there.
I'm actually with Midas. I'm all about being the cock rag. Krad.
Well, I think Krad meaning cock rag. I think his term of cock rag is just a guy that's at you know those guys that camp the beach and they just keep killing the new players that come in. Like I would rather.
Well, that gets boring.
Yeah, I would rather be the group that goes to like the airport and kills the guys in the sniper perches. That's the guys I want to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love PvP. I love absolutely, and Burke knows this. I love PvP. I love good competition. I love going at it with other players. That's what I prefer. That's why I never did a raid in Warcraft. I ran a PvP guild on Stormscale. That's what I did. And DayZ is fun as shit when you're fighting other people. That's what I enjoyed about it. I'm talking about the guys on the beach or the guys that just go sit somewhere and all they do is shoot somebody, hop to a new server. Shoot somebody, hop to a new server. Shoot somebody, hop to a new server. Faggots like
I saw that, yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, I get you. I don't like those either.
They're eliminating that mechanic altogether, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna have to. Yeah, they it's gonna do it like a timer. Like if you shoot somebody, you can't log to another server, some shit like that.
Right on, Loyal.
I wouldn't I wouldn't camp people per se. Like that would, that's really just kind of a shitty way to play any kind of game. I don't get that much joy out of killing anyone that's terrible for long periods of time. Kaz, unless we know him and we're graveyard camping him. But
I was about to say, like, you graveyard camp the shit out of some Warzone effects.
That's irrelevant. I'm trying to convince Krad not an asshole. But that being said, Krad, if I would probably play on a different server than you guys, because say we're going along and Burke picks up an item and it's a really good item and it's really rare and hard to find, I would have a real life conversation with Burke, like, Burke, if you don't give me that, I'm gonna shoot you in the back of the head the next time you turn around, and then I'm gonna take it.
The thing is that the moment that he would say that to me, I'm unloading my machine gun on his ass right there. What'd you say, bitch? There's a fucking conversation now, motherfucker. What'd you say?
Man, what's gonna
One
happen
reason
now
I
is
don't think DayZ will be that huge, because there is the element of all your loot's gone, which, I mean, it's kind of like the old school Ultima, like, if you caught that dumbass out in the open that had the key to his house, it was a glorious day for you, bad day for him.
Yeah.
All your loot's not gone, Kaz. All your loot is on a different player, you see. You can get it
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's out there. You can get it back. You just gotta hunt that motherfucker down.
You talked about your greatest gaming experiences, right? I want to share mine.
Does it have anything to do with the cock rag?
Had nothing to do with cockrag. Back in vanilla Warcraft, I, like all expanses of Warcraft, I would not raid. And I rolled around with green gear. Occasionally I'd get a blue drop or something like that, but I didn't have great gear. And I was a rogue, and I was a pretty competent rogue. I was pretty good. So I'm in between Terran Mill and South Shore, and a 60 rogue attacks me, and I'm 60 rogue, and he's got a druid with him. Now I've got 10, 15 of my guildmates off in the distance riding towards me, but they're in the next zone over. They're in the Rathi Highlands. They're coming over to try to help me as I'm having this long-winded fight, running all over the place. Well, I proceeded to defeat both the druid, who was 60, and the rogue, who was 60, with my shit gear. I killed both of them. And I'm sitting there with literally 50 or 100 health left, pumped up, all psyched, holy shit, and a level 20 nothing rogue goes, and kills me. So, yeah, you hear, my friends are just riding up as I'm going over. They see the 260's dead, and this little bitch kills me, and you're hearing me at the top of my lungs. Kill that motherfucker! We're gonna camp him all night! You kill that motherfucker! Put a circle around his body and fucking count again and again all fucking night! Nobody's going to bed! And then you hear this. That's my wife coming down the stairs because I just woke up our 1-year-old son.
Oh, man.
Call 911. Call 911 right now. Are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you?
Oh.
Shh. You're gonna wake up the baby.
It's a little fucking late for that asshole. It's a little late.
Oh.
Guys, remember I was about to go to bed? My night opened up. So we camped the guy. This was the great part of my night. It wasn't killing the 2 dudes 2-on-1. We camped this fuck rag for like 4 hours. So we're camping. Finally, the dick brain releases. He took every res timer. He would not res. He finally released his spirit to the graveyard. Of course, I'm a dickhead. Fuck rag. I'm a dickhead. I'm in the graveyard waiting for him. And I killed him again. And then I had everybody spread out around the graveyard. I put him on my Horde character. I mean, back then, you could only have an Alliance on an Alliance account. You couldn't, like, swap servers and shit. You couldn't have, the same faction on the same server. So I had 2 accounts. I put him on my Horde account, and I followed him for the next 2 fucking weeks.
Now that is definitely some dedication. I've heard some stories.
Battalion.
I have heard some stories about people that have been so mad in WoW. That's not even the worst, but that was definitely a good one. But I me and Midas can't say too much because we've run into lots of times where we have some lobby, fucked with us at some point, and we were just like, wow, we'll just, we probably killed the guy like 10 times before we got tired of it. But yeah, definitely there's so many stories in WoW that. Shit, I wish we had been recording half of it. We could make a hell of a YouTube channel just from the shit that we got into. But, alright guys, I think we're done for tonight. That was very entertaining. I definitely enjoyed it. And we got to, it was our first time doing game talk. Again, this very loose title that I'm using right now, but I would like to do this every once a week, and it would be. I want to thank Dave, aka Krad, Kazuuk, and Midas, aka Haze, for showing up late, but for showing up at all. I appreciate it. So thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and chatting about video games because I love to talk about games. And we'll do this again next week. We'll set up another day for it. And by then, I will have done my 48-hour PlayStation 4 event. Oh. I am set, Midas. I have taken your advice. I have a 4-pack of Monster. I have Sugary Rush and 5-hour Energy. And I am the worst Midas will tell you, I am the worst. He came all the way down to visit me once. And I couldn't even stay awake all night to talk to him. That's the first time we ever it was the second time we ever saw each other. And I could not stay awake to even do anything with him. So it's going to be fun to see if I can actually pull this off and stay awake and stream the PlayStation 4 all night. I'm going to give it my best. I've got my drugs. I'm going to drug myself. And I'm going to record it. We'll see how that goes.
For anyone that plans on watching who's currently listening to his channel, about 5 hours in past where he's supposed to be asleep, he gets ridiculously fun. So just stay tuned. It'll totally be worth it. Well, thanks for having me, Krad. Always a pleasure. Krad, nice to meet you. I'm out for the night.
Good night, brother.
Good night, guys. I am going to set this stream up now for some Total War play for anybody that's going to stick around. And I just want to thank everybody for showing up, and see you next week. See you, Krad. See you, Dave.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm our last cockroach.
Well, we love Elmo.
Anybody loves a good cockroach.
Why not?
Except for when they're sticky.
When they're sticky. Exactly. Of course. You know,
Hey, you could name this segment if it became a weekly bit. Just call it Four Cock Rags.
Four Cock Rags talk about games. That's what we call it. Four Cock Rags. There you go. I think we got it now.
Next week I'll do Donald Duck having sex with Elmo.
Oh gosh. You know, you're gonna get sued. That's a double. You'll be sued by Disney and you'll be sued by Sesame Street. So you're going for the double whammy right there.
You know what? Elmo's freaking gay anyway and touching kids, so they're not allowed.
All right, guys. Thanks for showing up. Have a good night, and we'll do this again next time. See you later, boys.